Hello, everybody. It's Dante here, wishing you a bright, beautiful, blessed day as we're integrating this eclipse. Um, Before I even get into it, this video is a video that's more of like a vlog entry, and I don't even know everything I'm gonna say in this video right now, so bear with me. And if that's not really your thing, then you can not watch the video and tune into something else. Um, but here, look at the lake for a second. It's really pretty. I live next to this lake now, and if I sat in front of it, there would something be funny with the lighting on this camera. So, fortunately, that doesn't really work. But the lake is here nonetheless, and I really love it. Mm. So we're in some redonkulous times on the planet, to say the least. And we are coming into another two eclipses. Those eclipses will be on the Cancer Capricorn axis, so having more to do with this idea of caring and nurture. And I'm already kind of feeling some impetus to step into this energy myself, and maybe that's sort of the main thing I'm gonna speak to in this video, in a sense, is yeah, I'm just going to choose now to take some time off and not even offer sessions beyond the group channeling course that I'm offering right now. And this feels like a way for me to really take a step into myself more, because I've been really externalizing a lot of energies and focus on other people. And I think as an empath in general, this is kind of my stance and in life in general. So I kind of grew up into a family dynamic that was a little bit askew. And throughout my life, like, I was really trusted with the responsibility of an adult in how I was supposed to relate to family members who were quarreling with each other. I was expected to take sides in my family's disputes, and also, um, they were telling each other, oh, this person is not trustworthy, they're psychologically this, and, a lot of it was very much true. But I kind of grew up in this way that even before I offered my services professionally, I have always given myself so much to other people and was always like the listener and the fixer within relationships. So I um, just noticing, like, the past week, past some weeks, when there's days where I don't do my practice in the morning, and instead the first thing I do is respond to emails or get on the phone with somebody and channel for them, I'm thrown off for much of the day. Like, I'm not as deeply productive because that core time, like really being with myself and my own practice, I chose to neglect it for the sake of giving it to other people. Um, and it's really beautiful to be of service. And I'm just noticing, like, something has to change because I'm feeling super exhausted, and because I'm, not feeling in any of my even personal relations that there's this kind of fulfilling balance where people are holding space for me too. And then there's, some clients offer some clients have said after sessions, like, oh, if you want support or someone to listen to, I'm here. And it's so kind. I appreciate their good intention, though. I think a lot of people don't really, because I mean, before I became busy in this sense with so many clients, I didn't understand what that experience would be like. I thought it would be just great and joyous, and because working with 1 or 2 clients a week felt great and joyous, that working with 5 or 6 clients a week would feel great and joyous. So, here it is. I manifested it, and I don't know how to keep up. So it's not something I really understood or had any sense of what it would feel like or what it would involve until it began happening. And now that I'm working in this course with some 24 people in it, it's like I really want to make them my priority. And clients on the side, I'm gonna kind of say no to for the next 11 days. I'll revisit it maybe a week before the next eclipse. But I'm honestly just noticing as well, beyond like not doing my own practice, there's this pressure in the background for me of little 3D things that I need to do to be in proper alignment in my own life. Kind of matrixy, annoying things in a sense. And for me, those are the most like frustrating aspects of life, and somehow require like much more emotional energy than anything else. And when I've been just holding so much space, it's like I feel full and at capacity and not able to do those things, and they stay in the background. So even like the next couple days, I have the last sessions I kind of agreed and committed to, and then I'm going to focus on the course, and I'm going to focus on probably continuing to create content despite it. And whether it's content that goes out right away, or if it's something that I have been intending to do for a while, to write a book, I don't really know. I'm not somebody who lives my life in any plan of like, I'm doing this and doing that. It's just like in the moment. And so yeah, the turn inward, and the energy of the eclipse really spoke to, really for me, what these themes have been with the the sun and Mercury, the sun and Venus being right before, basically on top of my ascendant, and the moon being basically right on top of my, what is it, Mercury. So emotionally, I really felt, my Mercury's in the 7th house, this house of intimate one-to-one relationships. So, this is where my mind always is. But I also noticed that, with more energy there than any energy in my 1st house, is like my tendency has been to, again, like give all of my energy into these many relationships, and somehow like I just find it, energetically, there's something here that I'm somebody where there's all this attention wanted all the time from somewhere, and despite having so much attention and so much directed towards me, I'm not in a relationship. I'm not feeling out a potential relationship in that sense either, just because it's not happening. And I think it really does have something to do with where one is focused, and the way one is focused. So yeah, I'm turning inward to myself. It feels weird after making so many videos on this channel that are about the more in-depth spiritual exploration, self-healing, to make a video about myself. There's this part of me that's like, wait, I've just talked about myself for 9 minutes, and expect people to watch that. Because I certainly know I'm not there to watch other people process in the way that I am right now. But I also see that perhaps there's just a value in bringing in the human component to what I'm offering as well, to not just be like, here I am, I'm this person that knows all these things, and here are the things, and here's this love and energy, take it. Like, there's the human struggle that goes on in the background now as well. And I think coronavirus has really like shown me through the how much it's brought me to turn inward, like how much inward time do I really need, and it's a lot more than I was giving myself. There was almost this pressure to push myself to externalize my energy and extrovert, whereas this introvertedness is good for me, but also the restriction between interactions has not been good. It's putting stress on my system, and there's just this longing to connect. And so I went actually to the first social gathering that I've been to since pre-coronavirus yesterday. And at first there was this like crazy sense of wonder, and like there's this part of me that's like, yeah, like after all that time alone, I can really appreciate the importance of gathering with people intentionally. And after a couple hours there, I was like having anxiety and trying to like find one of my old vices to cling to make it easier to be there. And I was really grateful to leave. And I can't, in the past, my ego would be like pinning this on other people in a sense of like, oh, it's this blah blah blah, this dynamic, the narcissist, heteronormative, whatever. And it is honestly definitely the very heterosexual nature of this community that makes social gatherings like a little bit agonizing. But I'm at a point now where it's like I'm not, there's no perception, distorted perception that what's happening is a bad or incomplete thing. It's just like, it's not my thing, and it's medicine for them, but it's kind of like a toxin for me. And all beautiful people, having a one-to-one or a small group hangout with them is amazing, but the way the energy expresses in this group is like, this is really like heavy for me, and I need to go. So that's kind of how I felt. And yeah, it actually got me thinking, in a sense, like maybe going back to the United States is a good idea. Because before that, I had to take it back to visit my family, who I haven't seen in 3 years. They're a little bit out there in a different sense. So not a place I could stay for very long and still be in a good flow within myself. But it's so important to nourish that connection and, express our love while we're all still in this dimension together. And I want to go there, but I don't want to stay for long, and then I have no idea where I would go afterwards. But it almost feels like, perhaps it's going to be an easier flow for me. But perhaps it's better to wait, because it just feels like things are getting crazier and crazier in this country that I'm a citizen of. And I'll talk about that too. It's getting crazier and crazier all the time. On one hand, cool to hold space for that. On another hand, taking a distance from it is maybe healthier. I'm just in it for me, really. Like, I'm in it. I'm into the idea of going back to visit my family and to have more potential love connections crop up, and just got this very strong intuition about that today. Like, it's time to really start bringing that into my field. And in the meantime, before I go, like, using this time so vitally to care for myself in the ways that matter most. So, yeah, there's been also, a lot of crazy coming up with this whole protest riot and the situations around that. And I've been getting really frustrated by comments I'm seeing in the spiritual community on Facebook, and have been at some points really fired up into this. And what I'm overall bringing myself to remember in a really deep way is, I've got to just stand my truth in these positions and stand up for what's really important, and also not get super sucked into it. But you know what? It's going to be easier to divide this into two videos because both videos are going to call to different people. So before I get myself into that, keeping this a short and sweet vlog. Yeah, I mean, my heart's really been in that struggle. Having quite a few African American friends, and just having lived in Central and South America, where I feel the struggle of these people, I am just really emotionally affected when I feel like white people are living in denial of things like white privilege, like how easy it is to manifest things. And I'm not saying it's, okay. The most universal perspective is it's as easy as the vibration you've practiced. And once you change your vibration, you can manifest anything in this reality. And if you have grown up in a setting where you have practiced a vibration of lack, it's like your body remembers that. There's this kind of hold. It's just, it's like muscle memory. It's an energetic muscle memory that, oh, my energy body remembers this vibration of lack so much. I'm just going to go back there now. And so, you see people who come from poverty move up and forward and then break down and back into poverty. And, I would say I'm coming from this lower middle class, if you really look at it in those terms of demographics. So I know that story of what it's like to have just enough, what it's like to be on debt or on the verge of it, and pushing through. And so, I'm getting a glimpse now, ironically, in the times when the world's going craziest, of what it's like to be at a different economic level. And I'm also seeing that I can't place all of my value on being that economic level and simultaneously sabotage my energetic level, because that's not going to be sustainable. I can't work too much. I have to make my own terms for this. But I'm just being very like cautious now because I know, how easy it is to fall back into a vibration with that sort of energetic muscle memory, the vibrational muscle memory. So, people all around the world come from poverty, and you've got to be like an avatar of some sort. You have to have a really important soul mission to go from that depth of challenge and back into a higher frequency of abundance and mastery. And what I witness here, I'm told this more than I witness it, but it started to make sense to me when I heard it. So here, living in Guatemala, a more impoverished Mayan community, and people don't like the Mayans who start to become more successful. They want to shut them down. And I actually did see this firsthand where, a family I was staying with, they have a hostel, they're running a business, and other people really don't like this guy, so they burned one of his properties down with him in it, and he nearly died in it. That's the kind of extent of, when we're in these like desperate states, and we're all grouped together in a desperate state. The shadow of human consciousness is like crab buckets. Maybe you've heard this idea of the crab buckets, that when crabs get caught in crab traps, the crabs at the bottom are constantly pulling back down the crabs that try to escape. And there is something about this consciousness of desperation that fuels that. And we can't just say that people are desperate because, that's just, where they're at. It's a system in place. The global elite are seeking to keep people there. We have more people with access to cell phones than we have people with access to clean water. So there is an agenda, and we are really meant to be calling that out. And we are really meant to be... I said I was going to make a separate video about this. But I think the point... my point is... It's really frustrating to me that people are not willing to look at that privilege and are just, discarding these voices. And, maybe those people have had their own traumas too, but, it's really important to listen up to what's really happening and to not bypass spiritually. And I'm just going to make another video about that. Yeah, and see, here's the funny catch of like the whole theme of what I've been talking about, putting my energy too much outside myself. Like I somehow feel this sense of responsibility to be a voice of truth in this. But I'm simultaneously watching my steps and making sure that I don't focus too much energy outside and keep myself stuck without feeling nourished energetically myself. That's what I'm learning in these times. And I think everyone should learn a lot from that, in a sense. Like, self-care is really the most important thing, and I would be nothing without doing my daily practices and meditating and reflecting inward. And it's ironic, like, in a sense, I definitely perceive some people jealous of me now that I am doing well during a pandemic financially. And well, actually not really, like compared to what people get on unemployment. I'm getting, basically less than that, but still enough to do well for where I'm at. And it's like it's really ironic that I feel this jealousy directed towards me, because the same people that are like, oh wow, like he's doing online stuff, I need to do that. It's like years ago I saw them having their business and doing this and that, and I was the one that, like, for example, couldn't afford to go eat at that restaurant. And like, oh gosh, that's too expensive. Like, I was in the shit that a lot of people are feeling now, and I didn't make my priority, going, finding work, getting money, making sure that I get money. Of course I did seek opportunities, or else I wouldn't have survived. But I wasn't making that the top priority. I was making my care for myself and focusing on what really mattered to me my top priority. And hence, I did a lot of inner work. I was connecting with spirit guides. I was putting my tools to work with others, and doing my practice every day, and studying and expanding my mind, learning new ideas. And I was really persistent. I kept posting videos and kept offering sessions, even in moments when no one was going for it. And I just knew that this was a calling, and that I had to go through some layers of challenge first to get there. And I think a lot of people now, like, if they're feeling any of that, like, oh, what's happening? Like, they don't have money, don't have this or that or whatever. It's like, well, actually, you're now getting set up to do the work on something that really fulfills you, and create a future for yourself where you can get by doing something that you enjoy doing, and using the tools that you gain from working on yourself, clearing out your own shit, and getting with the program, integrating self-love, integrating your inner child, understanding your boundaries, learning when to respond and how to respond to the call of the universe and the call of others. And most importantly, like, how to just live from your heart, and how to do what you love, and how to let your conditioning fall away so that you can bring your energy into what you love doing. Because here I am talking because I love doing it, and I'm setting boundaries in a sense now. Like, I'm gonna keep sharing, and I'm glad you enjoy it, but I don't have space for every comment and every message and every person. And I'm so glad you're loving it and loving me, and also I love you too. And hold on, I'm taking a step back, and I'm focusing on the bigger picture. And I think that's why I'm successful in this time, is because I've always had that big picture approach for the longest time, and knew that, no, I would never feel happy until I really did the inner work. And in a sense, that's what I'm forgetting now when I double book and sabotage myself, so that I have to forget about my practice in the morning to do 2 sessions, because I schedule them both at the same time and have to move one earlier. That's not cool for me. And it may seem like a small thing, but that time you set aside, especially for your body, is so important. And I keep saying it. And maybe I'm rambling a bit in this video, but I'm sure somebody appreciates it. I can't believe I got to 28 minutes now. Anyway, a lot of love and blessings, and good vibes to you all. And hope you have the most beautiful and shiny rest of your day.